そんなに驚かないでちょうだい。
Yo, what's up guys? Zephyr here, and welcome to my Yinlin build. Now, I'm not one to say that there are favorites in these games, which they most definitely are. However, you know that the community has a favorite character when they manage to actually break the payment method for this game, meaning that we are wailing so hard, we actually broke it. We managed to spend so much damn money, we broke it! All because of Yinlin. Now, if that doesn't scream favorites for a lot of people, I don't know what else will. I mean, people are getting down their knees, handing away their credit cards just to get her. And I won't lie, I was part of that little group too. I mean, you got C1 and her weapon. So, you know, I guess add me to the pile, I suppose. Alright, before we even get into the build, I'm gonna drop down some tips and tricks here on how to relatively optimize your damage with her. And that first being, never just basic attack. I mean, don't just do this. Don't do that, okay? You always want to have your skill up, okay? You always want to have this at least popped, just so you can start putting those marks on enemies you with basic attack. And then make sure you end the skill too. And sometimes I've noticed with this skill is that end attack where the doll stays and explodes up. If you switch out your character too quickly, you don't actually get that last big effect, which is still really good damage, so you don't want to kind of neg yourself of, you know, your damage pretty much. So make sure when you are doing your E skill into your 4 basic attacks that you stay on field just a little longer, just so you make sure you get that last big hit of damage. Alright, so another neat little trick here is that if you use your R and then you hold left click, making sure that you do have your full bar of judgment, it just comes out immediately. Like, there is really no real wait time before your ultimate ends and that forte comes up. So make sure if you do or you are going to ult, if you want just a little bit more damage or at least to secure that last forte hit and then switch off to somebody else, you have a full bar. And then you can get some extra damage with that and really save time with it. Now for weapons, obviously String Master is going to be best in slot. It's literally her dedicated weapon, so it's just made for her. If you don't have this, I would say either the Keeper or the actual Battle Pass one. I don't have it on me, but if you have that Battle Pass weapon at level 30, you could also use that too. I mean, honestly, any 4-star would really work with her. Or even a 3-star. Just make sure if you are going 3-star, like let's say you're going of Night, that you do have a refinement of it. Or make sure if it really does come down to it, just refine these guys into like a stack of 5. You know, get that really huge buff on each weapon and then just pick the one that you have. Again, it's one of those things where it's either you have to wait until you get something better, like one of the Battle Pass, or, you know, something down the line that comes by that, you know, helps out, or you get lucky on your standard banner for the other 5-star, or you get lucky and you somehow pull the String Master. Honestly, again, it's not much so a nothing will work on her. I feel like you can slap anything on her and she would do like relatively fine. But just to be optimal, I guess. Obviously, String Master, the 5-star from the weapon banner, the 4-star from the Battle Pass, and then if you have to, any one of these guys, or even the Rectifier of Night, it'll all be fine. It'll work for you. Now for echoes, obviously we're going electric set. Honestly, any one of these guys can work. I'm pretty sure Tempest is technically faster than Thundering, but I like Thundering's like damage effect better after you land all his attacks, so I just rock him. And I know, ideally in a perfect world, you would have 4-3-3, then 1-1. However, I'm not so lucky with my echoes, so I'm still rocking 4-4-1-1-1. But I'm sure that there is some math out there that explains that how and why 4-3-3-1-1 is better. So just make sure if you are building, or if you're playing this game, honestly, that you do eventually convert to 4-3-3-1-1. But for the meantime, we're going 4-4-1-1-1. Honestly, for main stats, it is the basic stuff: crit rate, crit damage. You would like some electric damage on here specifically, and then both with attack. Now I see some talk of people saying to rock a 5-piece attack set. Now that's kind of, I mean, that's up to you. I wouldn't say it. Again, I'm sure there's some math out there that you can do that will prove that electric's better than like pure attack. However, I'm just gonna say don't do it. Just stick with your regular, 5-piece dedicated actual electric set. Now for Fortes, we're going to talk about the upgrade path here, which ones to prioritize. Obviously, you want to get both her ult and her skill up. I would say ult first, skill, Forte, basic attack, then intro. Only because, obviously, your ultimate is your ultimate. That is the big damage you're going to do whenever you call upon the skies and you strike down like Zeus. Her skill is going to be your main DPS, I'd say, for majority of the time, considering if you do have C1 and above. So mostly if you have C1 and above, I would say just go straight into skill. And then Forte, obviously for the heavy attack sit, where she just sits down and just slays, honestly. And basic attacks, I mean, that's your basic attacks. You're going to be basic attacking all the time. And then intro skill is last. I mean, it's your intro skill. It's nothing really crazy. Make sure you save it for last, and that you get all these other skills upgraded first. Now moving to the resonance chain. This is kind of important, I'd say. This whole slide is where you will see her be a big difference with every character, I feel like, honestly. If you have their constellations, that you were going to see a really big damage increase. But the main ones, I'd say, is obviously her C1. This is just more skill damage for both the beginning skill and the end skill. C3 is also a huge damage spike for your sit down. Again, it's just a huge damage spike. I mean, it's relatively simple. Then 4, 5, and 6 are all good. Again, she just becomes a buffer at that point. And then even more damage with your Thundering Wrath and your Cinder's Mark and your Punishing Mark. And then her C6 is where she gets interesting, because it kind of turns her into a burster. So you wouldn't really want to have her on the field for too long, because you wouldn't be able to rep this effect. Obviously, you'll get it off, but it would be ideal that you would switch back onto her, switch off, just to get this big 419%, and then just kind of rinse and repeat there. So, but obviously, this is like $1,000 or $2,000 worth, considering how lucky you are. So, if you are here to where you get a whole C6 of her, make sure you don't run a comp where you are strictly using her as like main DPS, or at least you're staying on the field with her for a long time. And for others, I mean, again, priority, I guess, if you want to min-max your resonance chain here, I say 1 and 3, and then all of these are pretty good, and then obviously 6 is really good. But if you had to stop at 1, I wouldn't think it's a bad idea. If you really have some money to spend, then you can go up to 3, or if you're just a whale, just go full C6. If you truly want to win in this game and just make it easy, just go all the way, I say. Now, team comps is going to be a fun topic, because we're super early in the game still, and our only other electric DPS is Calcharo, right? So, obviously these two are going to be amazing together, and you can either add in a Yang Yang. Go check out the Yang Yang video, by the way. Or you can run your basic Verena. I mean, it's healer, AoE. If you honestly want to run Encore, you could. But besides those three, if you don't have Calcharo, obviously Encore is good too. I wouldn't really pair her with Ji-Yun. I mean, he's relatively fine by himself. I mean, I don't think he needs a sub DPS, to be honest with you. He can dish out a lot of damage by himself. So I would stay clear from him. Definitely save Yinlin for like a second team. Just realize that if you do run this set, or you run a team that isn't electric based and you just have Yinlin, you aren't going to really rep her outro skill. However, the takeaway from that is that Yinlin does a lot of damage anyways. So I don't think it would hurt your damage that much if you didn't get any benefit from her outro skill. Now to go over actual like combos and all that and optimal team swapping, Calcharo's outro skill is honestly whatever. I mean, I wouldn't exactly prioritize going into him into Yinlin. I would much rather go Yinlin into Calcharo, back into Verena, and then back into Yinlin, just to get the attack buff on Yinlin to then buff Calcharo with her stuff. So in an ideal world, you would go Yinlin. And if I can play the game, give me a second here. So going Yinlin, is building up that Forte gauge, slowly but surely. Into Kacharo. Then as you get your stuff up with Kacharo, you would go back into Verena. And then get into Verena, you'd most likely just use E. And then maybe a couple heavy attacks and you would get that ult back. You pop ult with her, and you go straight back into Yinlin. And after all that, I mean, this guy didn't even live long enough for me to actually show off, but ideally, your Kacharo would be a little bit more built than mine, and you'd be able to run that cycle of just going from Yinlin into Kacharo, back into Verena, then back into Yinlin, and then just keep going. Just that's all it really is. Now, let's say you're running a team that wouldn't really benefit from Yinlin's outro skill. So let's say you're running Havoc and then Yang Yang like I am. What would be your rotation be then? Now, I say you either start with Havoc or Yang Yang, just for the fact that you'll be able to get their outro skill into Yinlin, and so you'll be able to reap that benefit of their outro skill. Now, let's say I did start with Yang Yang, and I did my thing, I did my abilities, and then I got that battery into Yinlin. Okay, and now I'm gonna be getting ult charge, and I'm gonna be doing my thing. I'm gonna be attacking and all that, and then now you go into Havoc or Encore. I mean, then you're into Encore, and you're doing your thing with her, and you pop your outro skill, and you go back to Yinlin. Or you can go the other route, and you could just kind of be a little greedy with her, and you just stay on field with her constantly. You don't really change out, or if you do change out, it'll be to one of your supports that actually either heals you or buffs you up. And let's just say that you want to change out Havoc for another support character, like, I don't know, let's say you want to go like Mortifi or something, or someone who can actually buff you, right? And so now in this situation, you're going this full DPS Yinlin, right? You're going main DPS, you just want her on the field all the time. So more of the story here is that Yinlin can fit a lot of roles right now due to there not being a lot of characters to really mess with. And she's kind of a fit all, fixes all kind of thing where she can just go into any role and be like relatively good at it. Anyways, that's it for me. Mama Yinlin is here, obviously. She's amazing. She's fun. She's absolutely cracked out if you build her and you have her weapon. So get out there, guys. Just start wishing. Get her. Secure her. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.